These are the members of Sundsvall's volunteer fire department, relaxing on the grass outside their fire station on Väderkvarnsbacken. It is the 25th of June, 1888. It is noon, and nobody in the city of Sundsvall can, in their wildest fantasies, imagine that almost all of them will be homeless before the day is out. Sundsvall is the world centre of the timber trade, and this lively commerce has provided a certain level of prosperity, as well as extravagancies such as a hospital, orphanage, health spa, and a number of local newspapers. It is probably only the farmers in the small fields overlooking the city who are worried. It is midsummer, and the weather is beautiful, but hardly a drop of rain has fallen during the entire month. However, this is of no concern to the citizens of this city of timber barons. Little San Francisco, the greatest trading port along the Gold Coast of northern Sweden, and a major exporter of logs, timber frames, and sawn planks. Lying at anchor are brigs and full-rigged ships from every corner of the globe. And in the city's pleasure palaces, their officers sit and discuss freight and timber prices. This is Hotel Knaust, a two-story wooden building, but without the famous staircase. And this is Rullan, where Elvira Madigan can often be found on the tightrope. And this is Tivoli, where the Sawmill Wind Orchestra usually performs. At 12:25, a ringing is heard from the town hall bells. A short while later, the church bells also begin to chime. Fire has broken out. It has begun to burn to the west of town. The skipper of the steam sloop Sealonga, plying its trade along the Sealonga River, has for economic reasons fired up his boiler using wood instead of coal. This has led to sparks igniting the brewery belonging to the Stiff Company. It is at this point that the volunteer fire brigade is called out with their hand-driven pumps. In the strong wind, the fire spreads rapidly, and the members of the fire brigade begin to sense an imminent catastrophe. The shortage of water and the makeshift firefighting organization are the major culprits. The firemen cast aside their equipment, and it is each man for himself as they run to their homes and families to salvage whatever they can. The sawmill fire departments rush to the scene from Hefnes, Ortviken and Tunadal. But even their steam pumps are unable to prevent the fire from spreading towards the city centre. An eyewitness, Pelle Arananda, describes events thus. The flames leapt with ungodly rage from house to house. The fireman on the Tunadal hose needed to be constantly doused by an auxiliary pump so as not to perish in the heat. People lose all composure. They run into their houses and, in a rain of sparks, try to rescue whatever object they can lay their hands on. Somebody emerges with a child's sock, another with a frying pan. Chaos reigns. But businessmen have ice coursing through their veins, and as catastrophe looms, the delicatessens and clothiers set about realizing the value of their stock. At Hotel Knaust, the merchants and vessel owners remain sitting as they discuss the price of timber. As the need to evacuate becomes acute, the serving girl enters and says with a smile, "I think it's time you gentlemen took your leave." Within 8 hours, practically the whole of Sundsvall is levelled to the ground, and 9,000 people are homeless. As early as the next day, King Oscar arrives and provides the emergency committee with 4,000 crowns from his own pocket. The Queen announces that she will donate wine to the needy, homeless and sick. But on a more practical note, the emergency committee erects 100 tents with a total of 1,000 beds on Kyrkbacken, Church Hill. Of the church itself, only a shell remains, but both Rullan and Tivoli survive unscathed. Many ask themselves what unseen power has had the greatest influence on events. 5 people have fallen victim to the fire. Mikael Olof Norvall lost his life in an attempt to put out the fire in a gunpowder store that then exploded. However, the newly built high school escapes the inferno, and it is here that the town council sets up shop, along with the bank, post office and telegraph. Money continues to stream in from shipping lines and agents in London, Paris, St. Petersburg and Chicago. The German Kaiser himself subscribes to the tune of 5,000 Reichsmarks. Our eyewitness, Pelle Arananda, further recounts how his employer, R. P. Sundqvist, stands tearfully each day, scrabbling in the ashes of his house. He was underinsured and lost a great deal. I helped him to bring up jams and wines from the cellar, and pulling out a bottle, suggested that we should take it easy and drink a glass among the ruins, and this we did. Nothing in the cellar was damaged, not one bottle of wine was broken. Despite large shipments of emergency supplies, there are serious food shortages during the first days. When the need is greatest, the Schnapps King, L.O. Smith from Stockholm, donates one of his industrial steam cookers. Now all of the fire-damaged poor, as the emergency committee calls the homeless, can be fed free in the livestock yards at Finnkajen, where the steam kitchen can serve 140 people at one time. As early as the week after the fire, the building committee meets, immediately finding themselves on a collision course with the city council. City engineer Emil Rydbeck wants to build a new wooden city, an idea that is dismissed out of hand by those in power. The new town is to be built in stone, they insist, and in 1890 the government confirms the new town plan. With 21 million crowns in insurance money up for grabs, a building boom begins on a scale seldom witnessed. Architects and builders from Stockholm, fresh from the construction of Strandvägen, journey up to Sundsvall, and the town becomes a Klondike for construction workers. Stucco workers travel all the way from Italy, and as the majority of houses were so well insured, people can afford to splash out. They equip their palaces with turrets and towers, crenellations, bay windows and wrought iron grills. And of course, the fire brigade gets a new fire station, based on Gripsholm Castle. See Sundsvall, risen from the ashes, declares King Oscar on his tour of inspection. A phoenix given beautiful and rejuvenated form.